As the Great War came to a close, the entire United States celebrated the defeat of the Triple Alliance. Millions of people flooded the streets to rejoice. The end of the war brought happiness to millions and significant economic and social changes to America. The United States' wealth more than doubled after the war, during the period known as the Roaring Twenties. This led to a rise in consumerism and consumer-focused products. Many Americans had more money to spend, and many technological advancements allowed middle-class families to have luxuries once reserved for the rich. Cars, refrigerators, and radios were in over 60% of American households during this period. Many people moved into cities and worked in factories. This increase led to many companies adopting the 5-day work week and a shorter workday, leaving more free time for people to do as they pleased. Since people had more time and money, entertainment was in high demand. Everyone listened to the radio and went to movies. Hollywood produced upwards of 800 films a year, with many people frequenting the movie theaters at least once a week. The classic Steamboat Willie became a known icon, brandished on every Disney film from that time. The first horror movies were also released during the Roaring Twenties. Entertainment wasn't just restricted to the big screen either. Radio shows became increasingly popular, and manufacturers struggled to keep up with the demand for radios alone. The music industry also boomed because of radios. You could enjoy the new music genre of jazz in the comfort of your home, or you could go to a shindig in a swanky speakeasy with some giggle juice and see the action for yourself. Dancing became more popular, especially the cakewalk, the Charleston, the black bottom, and the flea hop. And since radios were in almost every household, music was now available to everyone. I guess you could say that everything's Jake. The food industry was revolutionized as well. Mr. Goodbar released, Coca-Cola piqued the interest of many, and ice cream was the bee's knees. People's eating habits drastically changed because of the advent of canned and frozen foods during the Great War. Before, many families made food from scratch, but throughout the 1920s, the population shifted towards more processed foods.
Their whole wheat with all of the bran. Won't you try?
Made up in hash houses. Wonder Bread, hostess cakes, Kool-Aid, and condiments were popularized during the 1920s too. Farmers kept producing high quantities of food after the war, but the demand was no longer as high. The price of their products plummeted. Corn went from $1.30 to only 47 cents, a 63% drop. Even today, more processed food is consumed rather than fresh produce. On average, 58% of our daily caloric intake is processed food. While these were important, one of the most significant and iconic industries on the rise was the automobile industry. Cars were one of the most substantial consumer products, with nearly one automobile for every household. Henry Ford's Model T was the first mass-produced automobile. His revolutionary assembly line method made the price of a flivver drop to the range of a middle-class family. It was wildly popular because of its versatility, durability, and easy maintenance. All of the components were the same in every car. Replacing a faulty part was easy and inexpensive. The automobile also made it easier to commute to work, thus creating suburbs. However, not confined to land, the airplane also became an aspiring mode of transportation. Even though these planes were designed specifically for passengers, they could only hold about 20 and had a cruising altitude of 3,000 feet. They were slower than taking a train, but could still fly longer distances and carry heavier loads than ever before. Traveling by rattler, or a train, was still a common mode of transport back then. Transportation wasn't the only frontier that was being expanded. Medicine and medical devices helped to rid the world of many illnesses. Penicillin and insulin, two life-changing drugs, were created during the 1920s. The medical bandage brand, the Band-Aid, was released by Johnson & Johnson, sold in a roll you trimmed with scissors yourself. These innovations revolutionized the medical stage for years to come. People from coast to coast bought the same goods thanks to the rise of chain stores and nationwide advertising. Billboards, radio ads, and exciting colors and fonts helped persuade the public to purchase items they didn't necessarily need. Many advertising practices today originated in the 1920s.
I was dead all my life.
Now, you might be asking, how can the average family afford these luxuries? Even though people had more money, a new finance system helped them purchase these extravagances. Besides consumer products, the financial world exploded with new prospects. Credit installments transformed the way people bought everyday items, making it duck soup. You were able to purchase something now and pay for it later. You could buy anything from cars to jewelry to vacuums. This new ideology of buying on credit changed people's attitudes and made debt the spread standard of debt, caused the stock market to crash in 1929. This crash caused the Great Depression and the unfortunate decline of the American economy. 100 years later, America is still impacted by the lessons learned in 1920. Fail-safes are implemented in the stock market and banks to ensure another Great Depression won't happen. Manufacturing processes have changed how U.S. goods are sold. Inventions made a century ago will last for at least another 100 years. Henry Ford said it best, "Coming together is beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success."